Hugh, you want to come out and introduce yourself and just share? You have some wonderful things to share with us today about vision.
Yeah, thank you, Mama. Yeah, so you do, when you have businesses with family, you get called in at the last minute. So I received a text a few days ago and it's like, hey, do you want to speak on Friday? I was like, all right, let's roll. So I put something together for everyone today, and hopefully there will be some takeaways. So like Elle said, I've been sort of her first student, and really embraced the pressure-free method, and that's what's led me here today. And so pressure-free has been an absolute gift, and living it out to the best of my abilities has been, it's what led me to build amazing relationships, and really be in a position to transition from high school to college to sort of career entrepreneurship, and have that be as smooth as possible. And so, yeah, it's been an absolute gift. So I'm going to jump in here and talk about visionary leadership for increased clarity, resilience, and confidence. And so for a second, in pressure-free, wave, do a little Ferris wheel, take maybe a deep breath, smile, relax your abs. So I know some of you have been here since 10 a.m., so we'll just kind of shake it out before we get started here. Yeah, so back in the winter time, it was about 6 a.m. in the morning. And for some of you who, yeah, it was a freezing cold morning, because I knew my toes were peeking out from underneath the covers. And so I woke up and I was all chilly, and alarm was going off, and I keep my phone on the other side of the room. And what I didn't realize was that movement across the room was going to actually change my life and actually lead me to speaking to you today. And this was back in January. And so I picked up the phone and my email. I was in a daily Stoic challenge, and the challenge of the day was pick one author for the year. And a few authors juggled in my head, and an author popped to the top of the list, a guy named Jim Collins, who's kind of the foremost business author in regards to building a sustainable, enduring, visionary company. And I went to Amazon and purchased all of his books. And so they all arrived. So I had this big stack for the year. And I've just been going book by book by book by book and applying these to business. And what I came to realize, and I started watching a few YouTube videos where Jim talked a little bit, just a little hair, about how you can apply his principles to your personal life. And so I'm going to talk to you today how I've done that. And we're going to do some exercises together. So if you have a pen and paper, feel free to jot any notes at any time. So first, duty, obligation, responsibility to create a pocket of greatness. So think about all the rooms you've been in, maybe within the last week, within the day. Think about the people that have been in those rooms: family, friends, coworkers, strangers, and realize that each situation experience is an opportunity to create a pocket of greatness. To, no matter if there's good luck or bad luck events happening within that space in a given time, you have an opportunity to, like I said, create a pocket of greatness, of positivity, joy, enthusiasm. We all have this present, the present moment, a gift to create, I'm going to keep repeating, a pocket of greatness. Some of the excuses people may have of not creating a pocket of greatness, they may say, well, I'm not the CEO, I'm not the boss, or I'm just the middle child in the room of 10 other family members. And so even if you're not in charge of the whole bus, the whole family, the whole business, the whole department, you can have your own mini bus. It could start with just yourself and maybe one other coworker, one other family member. Think even to the Walmart checkout line. You could create a pocket of greatness as a cashier or as a customer. Maybe you set some goals around, okay, I am going to smile at every single customer that comes in. As a customer, I'm going to smile at every single cashier. So there's always these opportunities to create a pocket of greatness. So I think back also to a time when it was one of my first jobs, my first college job, and I was in charge of a van of guys going door to door selling windows. Now this is for a massive international window company, and so I wasn't CEO. I wasn't even the boss within the region or within our even small little office. I just had one little van. And the only thing I can control is myself and my relationship with those 5 other guys within that van every day. And I took it upon myself to realize, okay, here's the opportunity. I just have these guys. How can we, we're kind of given these goals or kind of top down things, but we looked at ourselves as our own little pocket of greatness, and we did amazing things together to the point where we got to go drink beer on the job. It was kind of ridiculous, but it was because we achieved our goals. We over delivered to the company every single time, and we got some perks because of it. And so now giving some context. Now, what are some elements of a pocket of greatness? And so number one, personal core values. So the lens that you're making decisions within. Personally, I have a set of core values of freedom, excellence, and love. Okay. And then our business, Ingalls Pictures, our video production company, my brother and I, we have a set of core values: love and respect for all people, continuous improvement, client and audience return on investment. So setting those values, a personal set especially, will then let you move through the world in a way with a certain lens. Next is purpose. So why do you exist? It goes to the quote from Mark Twain: 2 most important days of your life is when you came out of your mama and the day you found out why. And so thinking about what type of purpose statement could you put together that would just really just nail the head on, okay, I exist in this world because why? I go back to, Ella was actually there. We were at a growth conference for entrepreneurs in Vegas, and we were sitting on day 3 of the conference, and we had just had this whirlwind of activity of inspiring speakers, and I asked us kind of like, what's our life purpose? Like we've basically been sent all of this information about how to build a business, build a life, create wealth, all these things, and like, how can we distill this down? And when we went around, and I remember Mike, one of our guys, he's all about experience. He's like, I just want to create the greatest experiences for the people I'm around. Like, that's my purpose. Like, he's someone that will just go above and beyond, like for projects that he works on with, or work for Ingalls Pictures, just making sure people are happy, that they're always providing experiences. So I came and when we went around, I said, and this just came out of me, it's like, I exist to be an example of leadership, discipline, enthusiasm, and curiosity. And so thinking about what your purpose statement could be in relation to the core values, and making sure that they work together. The next is kind of a mission. What is your mission for the next, let's say, 10 years? 10 years is a great target. It's kind of how a lot of businesses look at, like, okay, what's our big, hairy, audacious goal? The Boeing company, they wanted to make the 747. That was their big, hairy, audacious goal. For us, for Ingalls Pictures, it's an IMDb top 250 movie. That is the mountain we're climbing. That's our mission. Nonprofit sector, you get into like, what is your mission? And that drives every action throughout your everyday existence. For businesses, it's more of like, okay, we have this big product service, we're going after it. So what in your life is your next 10-year target, your big mountain that you are climbing, that you're setting base camps at different points? So, and the next thing go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So that idea of, I remember when I ran the symphony, I had a little pull-out drawer. I actually had our 5-year plan. So it was written and adopted and voted on by the board, because I would get calls all the time. Will you do this? Will the orchestra do this? I would look at our core plan to make sure we were staying on point and on mission. So getting clear about this is wonderful. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. And building off of that, yeah, I read my personal mission for the next 10 years, and then the company's mission, which is on kind of our strategic plan, and reading that and just reminding yourself every single morning. Going back to what Ben was, that consistency is absolutely important. And then the next thing is a vivid description of the future. So thinking about when you make your way up that mountain, you've reached that summit, you've hit your 10-year target. It could come earlier. What is your life like? Okay, what is that vivid description once you've reached the summit? And so for us, for even our company, we have this vivid description of being on a yacht coming into Port of Cons, and we can smell the ocean, and there's kids running around, and we have this, and each person in the company has written in a vivid description of their relationship to that, to that mountaintop when we've reached that summit together. So what does that look like? That should be something you can do with your family. Okay, what is the family's mission for the next 10 years? Maybe it's having our children graduate high school. Okay, that's our mission for the next 10 years. Okay, let's write a vivid description of what life will be like when that's achieved. So yeah, that's kind of to review. So we're going to take just a few minutes, and feel free to we'll do some heads down for five minutes or so, and feel free to maybe jot a few things down, and so I'll put in the chat here what I just went over. So let me put this in here. So values, purpose, mission, and vivid description of the future. And as you think about that, okay, so you're thinking about your values, your purpose. Well, let's start with values. Think about first who. So I also want you to write some words down. Is it trust, integrity, passion? I mean, it could be anything. Like I said, mine is commitment, love, and freedom. And so yeah, just throw down some ideas for some values, and then actually maybe write a name of one person or more who aligns with those same values. This could be coworker, family, friends, but just write a first who, meaning, okay, here are my values, and here's one person that aligns with those values. We're going to do the same for each. So if you're working on maybe a purpose, a mission, or vivid description, as you're writing it down, start to think about the people in your life, okay, for your purpose. Who else maybe has the same purpose I do, or a complementary purpose in life, okay? Maybe there's someone in your department at your job that complements you. If your purpose is to create a vision, they can execute upon that vision. So start to think about first who can help bring that purpose out of you and help you live that out every day. And then same thing for mission. Okay, if you're on a 10-year mission, look at how, first who are the people that are going to be going up that mountain with you? Because you're not going to do it alone. And from what I've personally realized over time, that a lot of times in entrepreneurship, when you first start out, you're doing anything and everything. And the most beautiful thing you can realize to do is delegate. And as soon as you start delegating, you start to move up the mountain quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. And so think about who's going to be on that journey with you. And like Ben, and going back to Ben's and listening to Ben, I mean, these college coaches, we're going up the mountain with him. Those are his first two. And so, just thinking through who's going up the mountain with you and who's at that summit. All with kind of the question of, who can create your own, who's going to create the pocket of greatness with you. So once go ahead.
Chat here, Vivian's listed some great values.
Oh yeah, these are good. They're beautiful. Communication, honesty, prosperity, integrity. Those are great. So also, as you start to write this down, and obviously it won't be perfect during this time, but feel free to continue to iterate upon these, creating some action steps. So you've identified some of these people, okay? So what's the next step with, one action towards that person? So maybe make a note, okay, I'm gonna make an example. If my mother's on this call, she's part of me moving up the mountain. I'm gonna say, okay, I'm going to make sure I call her tomorrow to talk about X or to review this conference. Maybe put one little action step next to the people you've written down that you're going to take action on, hopefully today. I challenge you today, maybe tomorrow, and the next day. So maybe a little 3-day action plan. Okay, I'm going to communicate with X, Y, and Z today, and then ABC tomorrow. So thinking about what is that next step in taking action with that person. And once again, family, friends, coworkers. Yeah, so give just a few minutes to kind of digest that. Then in about 1 more minute, I'm going to ask if anyone wants to share. So I see on camera, Elle or Vivian. Let's see who else is on. Elle, do you want to share anything that you've written down?
I recently went through something in this leadership program I'm in where from deep within, what came up were 3 words to describe the kind of leader I deeply am and want to exhibit. This fits in very well with what Vivian was sharing. And they came out of me in such an almost a violent way. So from deep within. And my 3 words were compassionate, bold, courageous leader. So every morning I've been writing, I'm a compassionate, it's funny, bold started to come in there because it seems to be wanting to flip order, but I am a compassionate, bold, courageous leader. And so I've never taken the time to look at those 3 words and then put it through this mill of what you just shared here, Hugh. So I see myself doing some work on that. And how you kept bringing up the people with each one of these, the people in your purpose, the people in your mission, the pockets of greatness. So yeah, so that's something I'm going to be working on. Anyone?
Vivian, would you like to share anything?
Yes, it's funny that I was talking to a legacy coach just a few weeks ago, right? Because you know how I think when we have a bigger vision, bigger than ourselves, it's almost like the body feels overwhelmed, and then it's either, especially women, right? We're like, oh, I don't know if I could do this, so maybe I should just freeze or quit or not do anything, or you kind of go around in circles. That doesn't work very good in business. So the legacy coach, when she said, okay, so start journaling now. And what I saw, like even from last year, because even with the COVID and the lockdown, I don't pay attention. I mean, I do, but I don't, right? I don't let it affect me. I'm still like focused on, well, what are we going to do now that the vision and the purpose is kind of like bigger than me? Like you said, start hiring. So I already have like 6 people in my team, but I realized that the business manager right now, it's almost like a business coach, but not a business manager, not a business operations manager. And I'm like, yes, I know I'm a leader because that's my strength, but then marketing is really my main thing. So I really just need to do this and assign that to someone. That's why I wrote hire a business operations manager. And in our E&E circle, it's entrepreneur network events or something. It's global, right? And everybody there is like rocking. And so then I met someone who's a headhunter that actually you just pay her a commission pretty much for whoever she finds for you. So then she said, I need you to write these things down so I know who to look for. So that's my next hire, is really somebody who does business operations manager to really focus on the overall operations. It's kind of like the glue, the one that gives that direction. Of course, given the vision that I give her and say, this is where we're going in this company. Can you help me please manage the rest of the staff? So I could just do my genius zone and just stay in my lane, right? So I notice this a lot. Like when you share a talk and you don't follow what you're saying, it doesn't land. The message doesn't land with the audience because it's not 100% authentic, right? So when you think of something and you really do what you said you're gonna do, people would actually gravitate towards you because now you don't have to do it immediately, but then at least you're already taking the steps to get there, right? Because we know that a bad hire is going to cost us a lot of money, but a good hire will actually multiply the assets and the resources that we have. So that's what I wanted to share with all of you.
That gets back, I want to bring it back to Trent's foundation of integrity on one end, humility, and then he had several other things in his pyramid, but those were the cornerstones. And if you're, like you say, you're speaking, but you haven't done, it shows up. If you're acting a certain way over here, it shows up over here. So that's beautiful. Thank you, Vivian. Anybody else have a question or thought, want to share?
Yeah, anyone else? So real quick, Vivian, what's your next step with hiring the business manager? Do you need to reach out to the headhunter, or have they?
We already talked last Monday. Come on. She's already hunting for me. So I basically am going to give her the specific job description. And so I had to research on really like, okay, what areas or what departments do we need? Because literally I'm running kind of like two businesses, right? One is the academy, wherein I teach people how to heal and bring in the other healers that specialize there. And then the other one is my intuitive business coaching, wherein I just help people like get to their money blocks. That one's easy for me because I can do that in my sleep. Yes. So yes, I have already made that phone call. And so we're going to reconnect after she's figured out who to find for me. She's the one who's going to look for me. Yeah.
Love it.
Thank you.
Al, do you have someone you need to reach out to, or who are you going to reach out to next?
Who am I reaching out to next? Actually, I want to reach out to some of my former clients that I haven't talked to in a while. And it's kind of been on my mind, like kind of amorphously, but to actually act and do it, that has come up for me, that's something I definitely want to do. So yeah, for sure. And I'm always working on that vivid description of future. I've been keeping that kind of a goal journal since I was 18, but I haven't done it for 2021 the way I want to. So thank you for bringing that forward for us too.
Absolutely. So that's really all I have today.
Well, thank you so much, Hugh.
Thank you, everyone.
I have to thank Hugh too. He's actually hired me 2 years in a row now to coach his company. And we just had a session at the beginning of this week that, I don't know, it was pretty awesome. I got off that call with you and it was just really incredible. So Ricky says, thank you, that was great. It's so cool to be connecting Hugh to some of you. I mean, it's just really neat. Ricky runs a nonprofit out in Utah, and Warner says, powerful coaching, Hugh. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing. And what is one of you, because Ben talked about the goal writing and everything, and Smile, but what's one of your favorite pressure-free tools?
Relaxing abs, realizing that breath is at the center of everything, and that we do, how our presence. I mean, it is I don't know how to put it really into words other than it's the core of life. And so the relaxing of the abs just allows that breath to get in, and it can turn wherever you're at any given point around. So that's my favorite tool, and the toughest tool that, even when I was speaking, I could feel my abs being tight. So it's easier said than done.
And one thing that I like about Hugh and his leadership is that he gives back right away. So you've served on a couple of commission for the city. You've been mayor, the mayor's board, next gen board chair.
Yeah. Yep.
Want to share just a little bit about why that's important to you? And
yeah, so when thinking about my brother and I's choice to pick Grand Rapids, Michigan as our home base for our company, I realized that in order to just create a long, successful, long-term, visionary, sustainable business here, we needed to be connected with every element of the community, and video can play a role in so many different industries. And so kind of looked at, okay, what are all the kind of given institutions within the city? Obviously, you have your city government, you have all your nonprofits, you have your public library, you have your symphony, you have your all these different things. And so I kind of charted out a course of getting involved in some way, shape, or form with the institutions of the city, and that led me to have been chair for the mayor's Next Gen Advisory Board for. See, this is for year 4, and our mission is to increase the number of people under 40 on city boards and commissions. So right now it's about 20%. We want to get up to about 40%. So getting young, basically a pipeline of civic engagement. I was on the Emerging Philanthropist Board for the United Way here in town, and getting young people involved with philanthropy, similar to kind of creating, just getting people our age just in those pipelines. Philanthropy, civic engagements, serving on city boards. So so I mean, met a lot of interesting people throughout the years of serving. And so sitting in kind of the visionary role for these boards is kind of flips the script when you're thinking more of a for-profit model. What is your resource? And so for example, with the mayor's board, it is time. No one's compensated, so we're not operating some sort of profit model where if we need engagement, we can just hand someone a check. We're relying on people's time, so that's our resource. And so that's some of the work we've been doing in the community. And then our business just continues to look at partnering with nonprofits and doing amazing storytelling for them, kind of regardless of budget. And so we have a number of partners here, and it's brought us to different, just telling amazing stories and being on, it's an honor to be chosen to tell some of these. We're telling some amazing, for example, like the Burn Society. It's an international nonprofit that's headquartered here, and we're talking, burn survivors and their traumatic events, and so there's just some things we're doing.
Great. Well, Hugh, thank you so much for coming on and sharing today. I really appreciate it. And people can, I think I put his email address in here. If you want to reach out to Hugh, he'd be happy to chat with you. And I think it's important. I ran a symphony for years, and good board members are hard to come by. It's so important for people to just reach out to nonprofits and let them know you'd love to be of service as leaders, because we're constantly looking for, when you're in that space, you're constantly looking for people who can be of service. So it's great to step into that, and it does take time. It's like, well, there's different things that bring you onto a board, but if you're a worker and you can put some time in, that's really fantastic. So thanks, Hugh.